morning, my darlings. How is everybody? I'm just getting going for today. I started the coffee. I'm halfway done with that. And multitasking, powering up and trying to get my phone charged up a little bit. It's got 8% left. I don't know where that stopped, but it seems like it stopped recording at some point. So I was about to say I was in on people's.com, and there's an article about King Charles and how all these celebrities think he's the best thing since sliced bread, evidently. And he's also quite a good dancer, apparently. I saw him break dance once, actually, in a little clip. I don't remember where, when, why. I thought he did have some moves. I thought he did have some moves. I thought he was cute as a button, and I think it was one of the first moments where I started to kind of like soften my stance towards him because he was such a good break dancer. But so we're in the countdown for the coronation, obviously, and you're going to have a lot of press about how wonderful he is and press about how awful he is. I mean, you're getting both right now because you have both sides jockeying for dominant position in the narrative everybody receives. And I try to stay in the middle with King Charles. I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic about him, but I'm not going to hold back from criticizing him either. It depends on the day. So where am I today? So today it's like, okay, everybody's celebrity love for King Charles. Okay, so you have Naomi Campbell, who I like her. She's okay. And she thinks he's great. What did she say about him? She said something interesting. She described King Charles as approachable. I've never met him, but something in his aura, something in his vibe, I feel like he would be approachable. And she said he's also charming. I think I would probably say the same thing based just on watching him in film or on video, I should say. I could be wrong because everybody has a different rapport with everybody. So she thinks he's approachable and charming. I think he seems to be that based on his images. But when you actually interact with someone, you could get a different vibe completely. But now I would say I think he probably is approachable and charming, based on what I have seen. And she said something about Africa. She said that he also has, or that he cares to visit Africa and is passionate about what is happening on the continent. That's interesting, I mean, I would examine passionate, obviously, just because I think that it needs to be more than a spectator sport. It's something that, I mean, I think he probably does love Africa. I've never been to any country in Africa, so I don't know. But I am my ancestors obviously were from Africa. I would like to know where in Africa they were from, which is why I brought my lawsuit against the British state and the British monarchy for their royal assents that authorized the slave trade, that deprived my ancestors of information about their actual origins, their ethnic origins. And as a consequence, I don't know where I actually originated. So to me, being passionate about what's happening on the continent is nice, but I want a little more from King Charles. I want a little more. I mean, I saw some article the other day about should King Charles apologize for slavery, and most Britons say no. I don't need an apology from King Charles. I don't care. I mean, it's like, if you have to rip an apology out of someone, 400 years later and do, bypass surgery and whatever to get it. It's not worth having. He can keep the apology. Actually, what I need is to know my origins and where I came from, and I need the British monarchy and the British state to pay for the DNA test because it's their fault. I don't know. That said, I do agree with Naomi, even though I've never met him, that he seems very approachable and very charming, and I think that, and I do think he probably does love Africa. Harry, his son, seems to love Africa very much. Also, lots of people love Africa, but what's love got to do with it in some ways? I mean, as Tina Turner said, I mean, there are some things that loving Africa and being passionate about Africa is irrelevant, right? And yeah, and it's important to know the difference. But anyway, so apparently he also met Diana Ross and other celebrities, Joan Collins, Dynasty, Joan Collins, the villain. I'm not sure how I feel about her, but she's not a part of the experience as far as this is concerned, so we're not going to get into that. But God bless her. I mean, look at her. She did well for herself. God bless her. Let's put it up. Let's leave it at that. Okay. Um. So yes, I wanted to quickly touch on the coronation laws because apparently there's some new anti-protest laws which are coming into force starting or have come into force starting on the 3rd, I think, which was yesterday. And many people are up in arms about it. They say that it goes too far because it gives the police the right to arrest protesters who are engaged in peaceful protests or, God forbid, non-peaceful protests. And what does it say here? This is the Associated Press. The coronation of King Charles involves one of the most important and complex security operations in UK history, Britain's security minister said Wednesday, as rights groups accused the authorities of stifling civil liberties in their attempt to ensure events run smoothly. I mean, I think they really have been very, very aggressive with security. I mean, look, in their place, I would be too, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, people should be able to protest, right? One of the most important security operations that the country has put into plan with the scores of foreign royals, dignitaries, and heads of state expected. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot. It's an important moment for the country. And somebody had attacked Buckingham Palace yesterday too, no? Um, Knife and ammunition. Well, they love their knives in London. They like to stab in this city. It's like really insane. But I don't think they would be able to stab any of these people because it would be, they wouldn't have the direct access. I think it's more a question of what are they going to throw. Adelican said the man's knapsack was blown up in a controlled explosion after the suspect told officers to handle it with care. Oh wow, that's probably absolutely nothing was in that thing, but the police blew it up in a controlled explosion. Video footage showed officers walking a man backward away from the palace gates. Yeah, yep. So he attacked Buckingham Palace yesterday, or attempted to apparently. But Charles and Camilla, the Queen Consort, were not at Buckingham Palace. It's just crazy. More than 9,000 police officers are expected to patrol London on Coronation Day. That's all? Really? Wow. Along with 2,500 law specialist members of law enforcement, including Marine Police, explosives expert, and surveillance officers. That's all? So that's like what? 11,500? Really? I would have thought they had had like 50,000 police officers from all over the world descend on England because it just, But anyway, the English, again, are not like the French. If this were happening in France, I would worry. I would really, really worry. But it's a different DNA, as I have said countless times. Okay, so that's it. So It's really that they have these laws, but what are the exact laws? Maybe I need to do a different video specifically about that because I can't really find it as because I haven't really read it. And But I've heard about it. Activists accuse authorities of trying to intimidate protesters with a government letter reminding them of new police powers to curb disruptive demonstrations. Authorities sent mixed signals to coronation dissenters. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's spokesman said that the right to protest is fundamental, but the police force said its tolerance for any disruption, whether through protest or otherwise, will be low. Wow. Graham Smith of anti-monarchist group Republic described the letter as intimidatory. He said the group would protest as planned on Coronation Day. Yeah, I mean, there are going to be major crackdowns and arrests like you have not seen if anybody tries to pull anything. I mean, and they will release them without, on their own recognizance, whatever that means, on May 7th, no problem, or May 8th or 9th, after all the festivities are done. But during the festivities, I think that the plan is, even if we have to violate our own laws, our own. I don't think they have any free speech laws in England. It's not like America, there's no First Amendment. But, they don't have a constitution. I mean, they have like an uncodified constitution that, comprises many different statutes and laws and I guess whatever. But they don't have a written constitution like we do in America. So it's not clear that British people have the same First Amendment rights as we do in America to protest. But whatever laws they do have, I think that they will, they've changed some of those laws to make them more stringent and more aggressive in favor of the government and against the people. And even if those laws violate other laws, I don't think they care. They'll just change it next week, after the coronation is done and say, oh, sorry. And that will be it. So, I guess, look, they have to do what they have to do, honestly. They have to do what they have to do. So that's it for that one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.